Hello, and today we're going to talk about genetics, more specifically, how genetics relates to EB. As you already know, as with any genetic condition, it can be inherited dominantly or recessively, or even both, as in the case with EB. The most common forms of recessive EB would be recessive dystrophic or RDEB EB and junctional. The most common forms of dominant inheritance with EB would be dominant dystrophic EB or DDEB and simplex. Simplex, of course, can be broken down even further. We're going to keep it as simple as possible today. Of course, there are some recessive forms of simplex, but those are a rare few. And again, we kind of want to keep it simple. So let's start with recessive inheritance. Now, in order for a child to be born with RDEB, you must first have a father
Hello.
and a mother.
Hello?
Unbeknownst to them, however, they each carry the gene that is needed to have a child with RDEB, because in order to have a child with recessive form of EB, each parent must have one copy of the gene. Now, let's say that together they have 4 children. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Now, this method of inheritance, by the way, I forgot to mention, also applies to the junctional form of EB. Now, with recessive EB, odds are 3 out of the 4 children that they have will be carriers of EB, and 1 will not be a carrier. 2 of the children will only be carriers, not showing any outward signs. But just like mom and dad, they will need to have a matching gene in their future partner in order to have a baby with EB. The third carrier will show outward signs of EB, but also must have a partner who is a carrier in order to have a child with EB. Joe here has no chance of having a child with EB. So let's talk next about dominant inheritance. In order for a child with DDEB or simplex, you again obviously must have a father
Hello.
and a mother.
Hi, Kitty Pie.
Dominant inheritance can happen in a couple of ways. You can have a spontaneous mutation, which is when neither parent carries the gene, but something went askew when the genes were formed in the offspring, thus creating a child with EB. Now, the other way is if one parent already has EB. With dominant inheritance, it only takes one copy of the gene in order to create a child who has EB. Each time someone with a dominant form of EB creates a child, regardless of who they choose as a partner, they have a 50% chance of having a child with EB. Those who do not inherit EB from a parent with a dominant gene will not be carriers and will not pass EB along to their future offspring. And so that is a basic rundown of how EB is inherited in both dominant and recessive forms. Hopefully this was helpful in understanding inheritance for future generations with EB. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.